Welcome back to another episode of Story Behind the Story. John Walker here, joined once again by Andrew Wegley. Andrew, thanks for joining us again this week. Your rival Tucker was on here last week.
Absolutely.
He might have gave you a run for your money, but I know something that you've been in the works of for quite some time now, and that's your feature piece on the men's head basketball coach, Ben McCollum. Tell me a little bit about that and what the motivation was behind putting this together.
Well, the feature kind of examines or looks at his path to Northwest. He was a junior college player, and then he transferred to Northwest and played for Coach Steve Tapmeyer. And then he was set to graduate with a degree in finance, and then all of a sudden, about a month before his graduation, he decided, I'm just going to coach basketball instead. So he kind of threw his life off the rails a little bit, decided to be a graduate assistant. And then it just kind of tells his story of how he ended up being what he is now, which is obviously the head basketball coach here at Northwest.
And being able to talk to Ben and everything, you've done it in a bunch of different settings, him personally, at press conferences and whatnot. What is probably the most interesting thing that you found out about him as a person so far, and not him as a basketball coach?
I just say that when he first started out, I mean, he just walked into, he had a job lined up at Wells Fargo for his post-graduation, and then he walked into Coach Tapmeyer's office one day and he said, I think I want to coach basketball, which that right there, I mean, just changing your entire life plan a month before graduating college is kind of insane to me. But then also just when he was with his wife in Kansas City once, he wrote down on a piece of paper that he wanted to be a head basketball coach by the age of 27, and he got hired as Northwest basketball coach at the age of 27. So that was pretty just well timed. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Were there any other goals on that list that you found out?
No, he didn't. He said he'd either be a head men's coach at the Division II level or an assistant coach at the Division I level, but he didn't tell us if there was any other goals on there or not.
Okay, and then how difficult was it he's a character, how difficult was it trying to fit everything in about Ben McCollum?
Right, yeah, it's actually the longest story I've ever written for the Missourian, probably the longest one we published, at least in my time here, but I mean, there was still stuff I left out. I think it ended up being close to 3,500 words or more, and there was still, I could have went another 1,000, 2,000 just with the stuff I had from him. If I had more time with them, I probably could have wrote a book or something.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it was difficult to decide. Okay, what goes in, what stays out, but that's part of the process.
Okay, Andrew, thank you for joining us today on Story Behind the Story. That's going to wrap things up for this episode. Make sure to check out Andrew's story whenever that gets released. That's going to be it for this episode right here on the KNWT Channel 8 YouTube exclusive.